Welcome to MMA on the Rocks. My name is Bill Welker. You are listening to episode 235, or you're joining us live on Facebook or YouTube. Today's Saturday, April the 3rd, 2 days removed from April Fool's Day, the day before Easter. A very happy Easter to everyone who celebrates that particular holiday. Hope the Easter Bunny brings you all some nice chocolates and mini bottles or whatever you're hoping for. I would hope to get like little Easter eggs with mini bottles in them personally. But in any case, happy Easter. No UFC this weekend, so we're coming at you a day early, obviously in observance of the holiday as well. We got a couple of things to talk about, but generally it's going to be a pretty short episode. Before we get into any of that, let me introduce my co-host all the way from allergen-riddled New Jersey, Jeff, the Animal Wilson. Jeff, how you feeling on this Saturday evening, my friend?
Bill.
Like shit, I guess.
Excuse me. Bill, I gotta be honest with you, man. My allergies are killing me, dude. Luckily I haven't gotten sick. Usually I get sick when the weather changes, because this week it was like really nice out Wednesday, then super cold Thursday and Friday, and today it started out really nice, and then at like 3 o'clock it got really chilly. Usually I get sick, but it didn't happen yet, so I'm grateful for that. But man, my allergies are killing me, Bill.
Yeah, they're killing our listeners too, because you probably just burned out their ear holes with that throat clear there.
Yeah, Bill. Bill, it's been a tough day, man. It's been a long day.
Yeah, I'm with you. I did a little extra training this week, so I was like feeling tired. I don't know if it was allergies for me too. I know the pollen count's really high down here. It hasn't affected me as much because like a prescription Flonase. Really interesting content for everybody so far, but I'll tie it into the MMA. I promise. So I went to the gym this morning, Jeff, and Saturday mornings at MJM Muay Thai, which happened to be wearing the t-shirt right here. Shout out to crew Matt McCusker. Saturday mornings is sparring day, and I went into the gym. I was gonna, do some light rounds. I rode the Airdyne bike for like 10 minutes to get warmed up. I started stretching, and then I wound up stretching for like 20 minutes just to decide that I wasn't sparring. I just was like, no, my body just felt shot. I didn't have it in me. If it was just like a jiu-jitsu open mat or something, I would have participated and just faked it. I would just, roll with some blue belts and make them feel good about themselves. But you can't really do that with sparring. You can't have like I'm just going to take it easy today and then, get punched in the head. I don't fight professionally, so it's not worth the brain cells for me. So yeah, body wasn't feeling it, Jeff. I don't know if it's allergies or, the inevitable breaking down of this carbon matter being that I'm controlling. In any case, a big letdown this morning, but at least I got myself to the gym and got some stretching in, I guess, if you want to look at the positive of it.
Bill, it's a non-factor because, Bill, you're a full-time dad now, so you're aging differently, Bill. It's not like you're a single young man running around, looking to be entertained. Your family's sucking the resources out of you.
That's true.
Draining your will to keep fighting sometimes.
That's true. Kids do age you. I don't know if you remember, I know you remember the brewery that used to be down here called Barley Mo, Jeff.
Oh, dude, I used to love that place. Yeah.
There was a bartender there. Let's call him Brian, and just average looking dude. And found out one night that I thought he was like my age. Found out he was 52, and I was like, what have you been doing? He's like, I've never been married, never had kids.
There you
And
go.
I was like, shit. That's the secret. That's the fountain of youth.
Yeah, Bill, I'm a huge nerd, but you know what? None of that strains me financially. So,
yeah. Well, speaking of financially, and I just mentioned my t-shirt as well, so we might as well get this plug in here. Our friends at Team Reaper, who make our MMA on the Rocks merchandise, you can use the promo code MMA Rocks 10. That's MMA ROCKS 10. The website is reaper1.co. You can get yourself some MMA on the Rocks t-shirts, hoodies, tank tops. They also have training gear, MMA sparring gloves, jiu-jitsu gis. They have some brand new Muay Thai shorts, Jeff. I just ordered a pair myself. They're like a camouflage green with black print on them. They look really cool. I should be getting them any day now. Can't wait to throw those on so I can look good while I'm sitting next to the ring while everybody else is sparring. But Team Reaper, our friends there, they're big time about supporting fighters of all types: Muay Thai fighters, kickboxing fighters, jiu-jitsu competitors, MMA fighters, both on the regional circuit all the way up to the UFC. So you can get merchandise for some fighters that you want to support. Use the promo code MMA Rocks 10 and go grab some cool stuff. As always, I'll put the link in the show notes to make it easier for everybody. If you want to support the show, that's great. If you want to support some fighters, that's even better. You know, I'm a big believer in supporting these folks. And speaking of which, Jeff, I guess the first bit of news we'll dive into is the Reebok sponsorship has ended with the UFC, and now Venom is the official sponsor. They're going to reveal, I guess, on April 6th what the fight kits are going to look like. From what I understand, everything's still going to be uniform. So they're not going to be allowed like sponsors and stuff on the actual fight kits, but hopefully they allow, like, you know, the banners back in the octagon. You remember they used to hold the banners up behind the fighters as they're being introduced. You know, that would be nice for the fighters to get a little bit of extra pocket change going, you know. But hopefully, you know, the uniforms look cool. Hopefully they're paying the fighters well. Venom, obviously a much smaller company than Reebok, so I imagine the payouts are going to reflect that. I don't imagine they have like a ton of money to be putting into this, so we'll see how it works out. You know, hopefully they're going to be pushing it. Maybe the fighters will make a commission off of the fight kits and stuff like that. What do you think about the start of the Venom era, Jeff, in the UFC?
Bill, I'm glad that the Venom deal is happening. Venom is a pretty popular combat sports brand, so hopefully, you know, the higher ups are a little bit more catering to the fighters in terms of money and stuff like that. But Bill, you know, at the end of the day, like you always say, it's a business, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm really excited to see what this new gear looks like, man. The Reebok outfit lame.
Yeah, they were. They looked like fucking Girl Scout uniforms with like the they wear the sash with their pins on them, like they had that diagonal stripe going across. I wasn't a fan. I never bought any of them. I know if Team Reaper were making the fight kits, they'd look fucking cool. I can tell you that much. So Venom better come correct with these fight kits, otherwise, you know, Team Reaper is going to be right on their tail, looking to take this contract over. They're really expanding at an incredible rate. Not only been around a little over a year, and they have over 100 fighters. So big things in the works there. I did tweet at Venom because they were like, "Hey, what do you guys all expect from us? You know, with a new contract?" And I I said for fighters to be able to have additional sponsors. I understand like there has to be a uniform look, and they may not necessarily want other logos all over the fight shorts and stuff. They want to get away from like the NASCAR kind of look, and I get that. You want everything to be clean, but give the fighters a platform to show off other sponsors so they can get extra money elsewhere. I don't think that's a big ask.
Bill, I disagree, man. This isn't soccer. This isn't pee-wee football. All right, they don't need to all be dressed exactly the same. Dude, I miss the sponsors, seeing the different types of shorts. Dude, that for me, that was one of the appealing things of MMA, was seeing all crazy stuff on the fighter shorts and stuff, and just seeing the different styles. Like for me, a really iconic brand was always Bad Boy. They had the Vale Tudo shorts that looked awesome, and then they had the Chris Weidman shorts, I like to call them, because those are the shorts he wore when he beat Anderson Silva, and then Stipe Miocic wore them a little bit later on. So I think it definitely had appeal, man. Maybe it's just me.
Yeah, but then you had like the condom depots and stuff. It doesn't really bring credibility to the sport. I guess, maybe you could have them, maybe they filter out like what sponsors are allowed and stuff. I mean, I get where they're coming from. They want everything to look clean and presentable. They want to be on par with other professional sports. Like the NFL has all their jerseys made by Nike, I believe. And, baseball, whoever's, making the stuff they wear. In any case, yeah, I mean, I'd be fine with it. I couldn't give a shit what they're wearing when they're in there. Let them have the sponsors on the shorts. But my whole thing is like, if you want the professional look, fine, but bring the banners back then, or let them plug other sponsors if they're sitting there. Let them have whatever energy drink sponsors them in front of them instead of like Monster or whatever other bullshit. If that's not a sponsor for that particular fighter, they shouldn't have to sit there behind it. It's like when with the Brock Lesnar thing, he's like, I'm going to go back and drink a Coors Light because Bud Light don't pay me nothing. When one of the best post-fight speeches. It made it even better that Dana made him apologize, and then he was drinking a Bud Light at the press conference.
The one and only Brock Lesnar. I'll never forget his post-fight speech when he first won the heavyweight championship. But drink a Bud Light because Coors Light won't pay me nothing, and I'm gonna lay on my wife.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I think he has since divorced Sable from the WWE. I think
really?
Yeah, I think Brock Lesnar just wants to be left alone, Bill.
Don't we all? I'm just kidding, of course. There was Bellator last night. I didn't watch it, but I watched some highlights. Patricio Pitbull getting the first round submission over Manuel Sanchez. That was a bit of a surprise because this was a rematch, and the first fight was a war. That Pitbull was winning the earlier rounds, but then in the fourth and fifth round, Emmanuel Sanchez started to pick up the pace a little bit. So it is a surprise that Pitbull was able to submit him, but put him unconscious in the first round. And then that set the platform for Pitbull versus Aj Mckee, which is a fight that I will tune in for. I go through phases with Bellator, Jeff. It's like, sometimes it's just so Bush League. It's like, but then sometimes you want to watch drunk guys play softball. And those are the times.
No, I don't want to watch anybody play softball or baseball for that matter.
Fair enough. Neiman Gracie lost a decision to Jason Jackson, whoever that is. I guess that was a controversial one. I don't know. And one of Khabib's 100 cousins won a unanimous decision. Usman Nurmagomedov, unanimous decision victory over Mike Hamill. I don't know if there was anything else on this show worth watching. If anybody out there watched the show and there was something really spectacular, let me know. I highly doubt it, but I do want to see that Pitbull versus Aj Mckee fight, though. That one will be good. And then Bellator has a fairly interesting card coming up on April 9th. Ryan Bader versus Lyoto Machida is the main event. And then I'll just go over a couple of names that'll sound familiar to you, Jeff, on this card, and tell me if you would bother getting off the couch to put this channel on. Liz Carmouche, Bellator debut, perhaps, against Vanessa Porto. And then Kat Zingano. I know you're a Kat Zingano fan. She's fighting Olivia Parker. I believe Kat Zingano's 1-0 in Bellator or something like that. And then Julia Budd against Diana Silva. So a lot of the larger ladies highlighting this card here, Jeff. Any of that pique your interest?
Yeah, definitely the Kat Zingano fight. I'm a huge fan of hers. You know me, Bill. I'm like a dog. I'm loyal to the fighters that I like, unless they have shenanigans outside the cage, in which I don't like that. But I'm excited to see Kat Zingano. It's been a while since I've seen a fight of hers, and I feel like she's a huge talent. Despite she's up there in years, but I think despite all that, she's a great talent, very well rounded. So I'm excited to see that. Will I tune into this card? Probably not.
Yeah, especially what really hurts their credibility. You look at the lower part of the card, and it's fighters that are 2-0, 5-1, 3-2, 4-2, 3-2, 1-2. That really hurts the credibility. Bellator wants to be like, we're not just here to sign fighters that leave the UFC. It's like, but you're going to sign fighters that barely have any experience. That seems like, granted, like once in a blue moon, maybe you'll get like a big knockout from those that goes viral on the internet or something. But I don't understand, signing fighters like that. At least have like a smaller promotion, like a sub promotion where you can put fighters like that. Marfellas wants to know if Leslie Smith pissed off Scott Coker. Who did I say Leslie Smith was fighting?
Who's Leslie Smith again?
I have no idea.
Well, I guess it's better to be pissed off than pissed on, Bill.
Yeah, true. I mean, depending on your preferences. I don't know if everyone would agree with that. Beverages, Jeff, before we get into UFC, I was drinking.
Hold on. Can we talk about this segue for a second? Bill,
what?
We just talked about urine, and now you're segueing that into drinks? Bill,
yeah, because I said some people have different preferences. Some people like getting pissed on, and maybe, us even talking about it made them thirsty.
Okay. All right. It's hard to argue with that logic.
Yeah. I'm a goddamn professional, Jeff. This isn't my first rodeo. Anyway, Fighting Cock whiskey, what I'm sipping on right now. I was drinking one of those like hard iced teas. I just wanted to try them because I never really had it. It tasted like iced tea. I didn't see what was hard about it, except like calling it an alcoholic beverage was hard. So I added some bourbon to it. But now I drank all that iced tea, so I'm just gonna pour myself some of this Fighting Cock. This is made. It actually comes out of the Heaven Hill distillery. I'm a big fan of the Heaven Hill brand. They make such identifiable bourbons as Elijah Craig. If you're a longtime listener of the show, Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond is one of my favorite whiskeys. And the reason I put this cock in the tea, Jeff, is because it has kind of like a black tea taste to it. It's 103 proof. So, there's a bite to the cock, it's got a bite to it. It bites back, but it does taste like a breakfast tea, like a black tea, but then it's got that bourbon sweetness to it as well. It complemented the iced tea pretty well. It was like a refreshing drink. I had it over ice, but it's not something I would reach for regularly. It wasn't the Mike's hard tea. It was Truly, which they make like the hard seltzers. They're pretty popular, well known for that. I'm not a big fan of the hard seltzers either. Nothing against them. Some people say they're like girly drinks or whatever. I am always an advocate of drink whatever you like. I don't care. I don't really prefer the taste of seltzer. So I thought I'd give the iced tea one a try. I had to kick it up with a little bourbon, and then I had to kick it to the curb and just pour some bourbon in my glass. I don't know if you recognize this glass, Jeff. Do you know where this came from?
The Clown Shoes Brewery.
Well, yeah, but do you know who gave me this glass?
Was it Professor Jamie?
No, it was the bartender at the beer spot.
No, I didn't give you that one.
Yes, he did.
No, he gave you a different one.
No, it was this.
No, it wasn't.
It was.
Nope.
Then how did I get this?
He gave you a New Jersey one. I think it was orange label. I think they're out of Lodi. I can't remember the name of it.
No, it was this one. So for those who don't know, MMA on the Rocks was kind of formed at the bar called the Beer Spot in Fort Lee, New Jersey, because Jeff and I would go there after jiu-jitsu practice, have a couple of beers. I definitely got this glass from there. And we would just talk shit about MMA. So we decided one day to just, record it while we were having some beers. And ever since then, I've been drinking beers out of this glass till today when I was drinking hard tea out of it. And now I'm drinking bourbon out of it, which it definitely came from the Beer Spot.
Bill, we're going to have to agree to disagree. I remember my glass was this like blue turtle shell as the logo. I still have it. I don't really use it because I forgot where I put it. But I remember very distinctly because it was one of my favorite glasses until it disappeared.
See, you don't even remember where your glass is. How can you remember what my glass is?
Because I remember the logos. I don't even remember why he gave us those. I think we were just talking to the bartender and he thought we were cool guys and just gave us a glass each.
Well, yeah, what happens is they cycle through so many different kegs and stuff, and usually the breweries will send like some merchandise over. They'll send glasses, or they'll send like bar mats for you to put out on the bar, or like the bigger brands will send you like a neon sign to put in the window, stuff like that. They'll send coasters, whatever. So they end up with all these extra glasses. So they just, end up giving, hey, just keep that glass you drank that beer out of. Saves them from having to wash it and like find a place to put it. I guess especially nowadays with COVID and everything, they're like, yeah, we'd have to wash it 5 times and sanitize it. And we got all these protocols, like just fucking take it home.
Oh man, yeah. Bill, the Beer Spot, man, they have really good food too, which I think we talk about all the time. But man, it's just it's got a good vibe to it. We used to go watch UFC fights there when they would air them. But Bill, I think I have not been there since before the quarantine has started. I just always take it for granted because it's always there. So after training, I'll be like, I'll go tomorrow or something, and then I never do. Bill, I'm gonna make it a point to go back out there.
Yeah, you've gotta cultivate those relationships, Jeff. Don't let them die out. That was like there was this Lebanese restaurant near us, and the wife and I went there one time. The food was really good. It was just the two of us in there, and the wife loved the place so much. She was like, the owner came out. She was talking to him about like Lebanese culture and methods of making the food, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna tell everybody about this place. This food is so great." We never went back, and last time we drove past the place, it was out of business, which is which is unfortunate. And this was before COVID also. So it wasn't the COVID that put them out of business. So I was like, look, you were so excited about this place and now you just let them go out of business. That's why you gotta cultivate these relationships when you have an appreciation for a business, you know?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Bill, there's this grill place near one of my friends' houses that we go there maybe once a month, my friends and I, and it's one of those places where they're pumping out like 50 burgers in 10 minutes, and it's chaotic, but it's got that appeal that this Lebanese restaurant had for a few minutes with your wife.
Yeah. And it's especially important now to be supporting small businesses. Anyway, Jeff, there's been some awesome fight announcements lately, and also in addition to the awesome fight announcements, there's been Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier 3. It's like, I don't give a fuck, Jeff. I don't give a fuck about that fight. Like, I don't know why, like, Dustin Poirier turned down the championship to take this fight again. Like, maybe he'll make a little bit more money, and I don't even understand how he's going to make more money. Like, is it going to be a pay-per-view? Is it going to be a headlining fight? And if so, why? It's not for a title. We just saw this fight. It wasn't really even competitive. Not a knock on Conor McGregor. I think this fight would be compelling if he went out and won like 2 in a row, and like Dustin's the champion, and then they do it a third time. But this is like it. And even like the back and forth between them on social media, I saw like just a few screenshots of what they were saying to each other. This is like when you're at a family reunion and like some of the kids want to put on a talent show, and all the grown-ups are just like they watch it, but they're just like really just getting drunk and like, talking about other shit amongst themselves. That's how I feel about this fight. Like, yeah, I'm going to watch it because I watch every card, but like, I can't stress enough, Jeff. I don't give a fuck. Like, I just saw this. This is like, it's like going to the movies and like, oh, that was a pretty good movie. You want to go see it again next week? I don't know. What are your thoughts, Jeff? Am I way out of line here?
Bill, I didn't even know that the trilogy had been scheduled until you told me just now. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll watch it because I think it would be entertaining, but I don't know. I can't get off the couch for this one. I think it's too soon.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're on the same page, Jeff, and it's not just this fighting cock that's loosening my tongue a little bit. Here's some fights I am excited for, Jeff. And you have to tell me which one intrigues you the most. So we got Cyril Gane versus Alexander Volkov. That's going to be June 26th. We got the Korean Zombie versus Dan Ige, which is going to be June 19th. We got Gilbert Burns versus Wonder Boy Stephen Thompson. That will be July 10th. And then we also have Brian Ortega and Volkanovski are going to host the next season of The Ultimate Fighter, and then they're going to fight when that's done. So out of those 4, Jeff, which one is making you change the channel the most, the quickest?
Oh man, Bill, all of those sound fantastic. From the first one, I almost picked the first one when you said it, and then you said, you went through all of them, and my mind just kept changing. But I have to say, I think I'm most excited for Wonder Boy Thompson versus Gilbert Burns. I think the style matchup is so interesting. You have your short, stocky grappler and Wonder Boy who's long and can excuse me, can maintain the distance and manage the distance really well. And he's got that weird style where he fights with his hands down, but he's never there for you to hit. I'm really excited for that one. I think they match up in such an interesting way.
Yeah, Wonder Boy is a dark horse for sure. It seems like not a lot of people want to fight him. It even got to the point where he was like trying to call people out. Korean Zombie and Dan Ige is going to be like, there's no way that's a boring fight. Yeah, Cyril Gane and Volkov, that's a fun one. Gane, his last performance, more tactical than entertaining, but I still thought it was good. And then the other big fight that got announced, Jeff, which I didn't even mention, Nate Diaz and Leon Edwards, which, is interesting. Like that one came out of left field. Like that's the biggest head scratcher of them all for sure. But don't get me wrong, I'm excited for it. I think that should have been the Ultimate Fighter coaches. That would have been a better one than Volkanovski and Ortega. Like I don't really see where they're gonna go with that. Like, is it gonna be 12 weeks of just that Modelo commercial where they're like 10 years ago, Brian Ortega had to make a decision. And instead of cocaine, he chose jiu-jitsu and Modelo. Or like however that commercial goes. Like, I mean, maybe it'll change my mind about these two, but they don't seem like the most television friendly personalities, the two of them. Like there's so many fighters that would make, great TV for the comeback of the Ultimate Fighter. Israel Adesanya. If you had Israel Adesanya and Darren Till for the Ultimate Fighter, like sign me up. I don't give a shit about the rankings or anything else. I just want to see those two like breaking each other's balls for 12 weeks. Like that would be great entertainment for me. Or even if you did Nate Diaz and Leon Edwards, I think Nate Diaz would be a really entertaining coach because he would be like, all right, go do a triathlon to warm up and then go slap that heavy bag for 45 minutes and yell Stockton, bitch.
Oh man.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Jeff? What's your dream coaches for the Ultimate Fighter return?
Oh man, dream coaches for the Ultimate Fighter would be Yoel Romero and Michael Bisping against each other. I think the both of them are so entertaining, and they had that heat between them. Man, I think every episode would be fantastic.
Yeah, that would be a good one. 12 weeks of Michael Bisping. I'm coming for you, boy.
Yeah, that one night to scare all the fighters. Michael Bisping, like, he's holding his eye and he just sneezes and then he, like, pretends that his eye fell out or something. I could see Michael Bisping doing something like that.
Yeah, that would be good. The coach's challenge is like a vision test.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I don't understand Volkanovski and Ortega. Like maybe, hopefully, like they have some entertain. Like I don't doubt that both of them will be outstanding coaches. As long as fucking Henner Gracie doesn't weasel his way onto TV trying to sell hero hoodies, I guess I'm fine with it. But he's like trying to sell them to the other team. Like, look, you take it off and it turns into a backpack.
No, man, that was a pretty good impression. They're crazy. You got the inflections just right.
Yeah, apparently I spent a lot of time watching commercials.
Yeah, Bill, I'm not gonna lie, those backpacks do look cool, man. Like on a day like today, one of those would have been awesome. Have it on as a backpack, and then as soon as it started getting chilly, throw it on, put the hood on. I don't know where I was gonna put all my stuff, but
yeah, like the concept is cool, but like he's so dramatic about it. Like, Jeff, imagine you have this sweatshirt and you don't know where you're gonna put it when you take it off. Then it turns into a backpack.
Oh man.
Anyway,
Married to a former WWE superstar, Eva something.
Is he?
Yeah, his wife used to be in the WWE.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, that kind of gives him a little more street cred then. She's a black belt too, isn't she?
Yeah, her jiu-jitsu is pretty serious.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not a fan of like the way they endorse their school, where he's like, did you hear that 12 kids got raped yesterday, and that could have been prevented if they knew some jiu-jitsu. Like he takes it to such a dark place. It's like, how about what happened to let's get in shape together and learn how to defend ourselves. Anyway, I feel like we kind of breezed over the Nate Diaz, Leon Edwards. So I want to circle back to that. A little strange that this one came together, and it's such a head scratcher because for the longest time, Leon Edwards was like, I'm not fighting Khamzat Chimaev because he's not ranked. And then finally, he got removed from the rankings and he got kind of pressured into that fight by the UFC, and he took it. And then, the weird fight with Bilal Muhammad. And then after that, he was like, well, I was going to win that fight anyway, so I should get a title shot. And now we're circled back to out of nowhere, he's fighting a guy who's not even ranked in his division. So I don't really understand how the dots were connected on this one, Jeff, but I'm glad they were, because this is a really fun fight, in my opinion.
Yeah. It looks like they were connected in the famous Zorro Z. They don't really make a straight line, but they connect. I mean, but Bill, I'm glad this is happening, man. As annoying as Leon Edwards is to me, he and I'm just messing around. But Leon Edwards, definitely a very game fighter, man. Up until the debacle at the end of that fight with Bilal Muhammad, he didn't look like he was in too much trouble.
Yeah, for sure. But he had a long layoff. It was only one round. We know Bilal Muhammad can go 25 minutes without even ever seeing it.
Not with one eye. You can't see that for 20
That's true.
minutes.
That's true. Yeah. Who saw that coming? Yeah, but it was just one round. I mean, look at the Aljamain Sterling Peter Yan fight. Aljamain came out very aggressive in that first round, and he wound up gassing out. And then, Peter Yan started to run away with it until he threw it out the window with that illegal knee. But yeah, you can't say after one round, oh yeah, I was definitely going to win that, so I should just get a title shot. But man, I love this fight, and I love the surprise of it, because nothing else is really a surprise. Cyril Gane and Volkov, okay, you got to put those two together. That makes sense. Two contenders. Ige called out Korean Zombie. So there's that. Gilbert Burns and Wonder Boy, they're the two that nobody really wants to fight in that division. Makes sense. This one really came out of left field. Yeah. And I think it's awesome. I like when a Diaz fight comes together so quick, instead of oh, maybe he's going to fight this guy, maybe he's going to fight that guy, and it goes on for 3 years. But now we got it right away, and it's a really interesting matchup. They're both volume strikers. Edwards maybe a little bit more power, maybe a little bit more precision, but good luck. Good luck getting Nate Diaz to quit from punching him in the face. That's a game plan that's never worked out for anybody. So yeah, that's a fun one, Jeff. I don't know. What do you think? You want to get into next week's card here?
Yeah, let's do it. Next week's card, the main event looks really good. And I think we got a little bit into it last week. I think this whole card, top to bottom, is going to be a good afternoon.
Well, the only difference is last week, the main event was still going to be Marvin Vettori against Darren Till. And just a few days ago, it was announced Darren Till broke his collarbone and he won't be able to make it to that. Oh, Jeff, you don't even know this.
What?
Yeah.
What? Darren Till did what? Did somebody illegally grab his clavicle?
That must be what happened. They weren't following the unified rules in the gym, and somebody must have grabbed his clavicle and snapped that thing like a Thanksgiving turkey wishbone. But yeah, so there is a replacement already booked, Jeff. So do you want to take a guess before I tell you who it is?
No, didn't this guy just fight like last week?
Oh, so I guess you have the card in front of you now.
I do now, yeah.
It would have been more fun if you guessed, Jeff. We should have choreographed this better.
Yeah, dude, didn't Kevin Holland just fight like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, and he lost. Didn't take much damage, but he still fought 5 rounds. Not advisable. You know, if I'm someone close to Kevin Holland and he just got smushed for 5 rounds, like, maybe he didn't take a lot of damage, but there's still, the training camp there, he did get hit a little bit. He did get his will broken in there to the point where he was just walking away from Derek Brunson with 10 seconds left in the fight. Definitely not a desirable result. And Marvin Vettori is a killer. He's not in there to like hold you down for the duration. He's in there to fucking annihilate you for as long as he's allowed to do so legally. So hopefully Kevin Holland, snaps out of like whatever headspace he was in a Derek Brunson fight and brings a game plan. I think it's a better stylistic matchup for Kevin Holland for sure. And then, being the guy who steps in on a week's notice, he's got nothing to lose, steps right into another main event. So even after, the most lackluster performance of his UFC career, he's still a main event fighter just a few weeks later. But man, Marvin Vettori's fired up. He's pissed off that Darren Till didn't make it to the fight, even though he's got a legitimate reason. I wouldn't want to be in there with a pissed off Marvin Vettori. If you give me the option between a pissed off Marvin Vettori and a Kevin Holland who's going to talk to me for 25 minutes, like, I could have a 25-minute conversation. I'd rather not have an angry Italian guy trying to break my face.
That was a good one, man.
So give me your thoughts, Jeff. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, Bill, you can't help but be concerned for Kevin Holland, man, because here's my logic, okay? So if you're Marvin Vettori, you see Izzy Adesanya is the current middleweight champion. You guys have fought before. You know it was close. And, me personally, Jeff the Animal Wilson, I believe that Marvin Vettori won that first fight.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I have to watch it again, but for me, I don't think he did too much wrong. The third round definitely gave to Izzy, but I kind of felt like Vettori edged out those first 2 rounds. So if you're anywhere in Marvin Vettori's path, you got to be a little concerned here, because I think if you're Marvin Vettori, you use this opportunity. He just lost to Jan Blachowicz. Make a statement with this Kevin Holland fight. Put him down, knock him out, finish him, and now we can start talking about that rematch with Adesanya.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there will be some fatigue from Kevin Holland. Like, I know he talks a big game, and he credit to him for stepping up on short notice, but like even preparing for a 5-round main event against Derek Brunson and then doing it, like, you need some time to recover from that, man. Even if you didn't take like a whole lot of damage. I know he's a young guy and like he'll probably bounce back pretty quick, but I would be concerned if I were somebody close to him. But all that aside, I think it's a really fun fight. We got 2 guys who definitely pressure on the feet. Although we saw with the Derek Brunson fight that Kevin Holland, kind of makes some mistakes when he gets pressured on the feet. And Vettori's nasty on the ground too, man. Make no mistake. He might prefer to punch your face in, but he's got a ground game. That was against Adesanya. I don't remember that fight too clearly. I'll have to go back and watch it myself. Maybe we'll do something where you and I watch it together on the show. and we'll see how we score it. If the Vittoria Sonya fight comes together, maybe we'll do something like that down the line, mix it up a little bit. But yeah, fun main event. I'm game. This is UFC on ABC2 we're talking about, which is going to be Saturday night at the UFC Apex. Co-main event is a really fun one. Sadiq Youssef and Arnold Allen. Both with similar records, 11-1, 16-1, respectively. I think this is a really fun fight. One of them's going to get knocked down the ladder, and one of them's going to get a boost after this one. It's a big spotlight position for both of these guys. What do you think about that one, Jeff?
Yeah, Bill, and both of these guys have power in their hands. They can finish a fight. This is going to be a really exciting fight. I'd be surprised if this one went more than 2 rounds.
Yeah, that's a fair prediction. Both of these guys hit really hard. They both have finishing power, so that'll be a fun one. Kyle Daukaus, who's had a good run in the UFC thus far, is fighting Alaiskab Kizriev, who is 13-0. I'm not familiar with him, but just from his name alone, he sounds intimidating. Then we got Smiling Sam Alvey, who we haven't seen in a while. Usually, very active fighter. He hasn't fought in quite a bit. Who is having a pretty quick turnaround as well. He had a long layoff there for a while. But his last fight was very interesting. He finished it when he had to, after losing the first 2 rounds. And then his coach wisely told him in the corner, James Krause, that he had to get a finish, and he wound up getting like a Darce choke or something in the 3rd round. So I think that's a really fun fight. And then you got Nina Ansaroff and Mackenzie Dern. That's going to be a good one. Anything really grabbing your attention yet, Jeff?
Yeah, Bill, I'll be honest with you. That Nina Ansaroff versus Mackenzie Dern fight looks really interesting to me, man. I think any woman who gives birth is one tough chick. So Nina Ansaroff, coming off of, having a baby a couple of months ago, I think. The stuff in the buildup for the Nunez versus Megan Anderson fight looked pretty recent. So, I'm excited to see how Nina Ansaroff bounces back after a while out of the cage. Mackenzie Dern, we saw her do really well in her first fight back from motherhood. So I'm really excited, Bill. I think, I don't know, I just think it produces a different type of toughness in a person when they become a parent.
Yeah, for sure. Or a different kind of weakness, depending on who you are, like me. Show up for sparring and just stretch for 20 minutes and then go home. And I didn't even give birth, Jeff. I was just there.
Yeah, you got the easy job. You just had to bring the heartburn medicine.
Yeah, there wasn't even any of that. I had to bring the food, was what it was. And it was, I'll tell this story. I don't think I've told this on the air, but when my daughter was being born, it was a cesarean section, and because it was a scheduled birth, and right after, like, I don't know if you guys know how this works, but they basically have to take all your, intestines and everything out and put them to the side and pull the baby out, and then they clean everything, put it back in. So right after the baby was born, I asked my wife, I was like, how are you feeling? And she's like, hungry. And I was like, well, your stomach's way over there. Maybe wait until they bring it a little bit closer and see how you feel.
Oh, man. I definitely don't want kids after hearing that story. Oh, man.
But, to her credit, we got back up to the hospital room, and she was still hungry. She ordered like everything on the menu. And, after what you went through and what your body went through, I say, like, eat whatever you want, go for it. But yeah, let's not forget that Mackenzie Dern is not that far removed from giving birth either. I think, it's still her kid can't even be a year old yet.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And she got in there like a few months after giving birth. It was like a really quick turnaround. That was insane. Like, I don't know how she even got enough training in. But yeah, two moms going at it there. Then we got Mike Perry and Daniel Rodriguez. John Makdessi, who is always fun to watch, facing Ignacio Bahamondes. What else we got here? Jorgen De Castro, who's fun. I always enjoy watching him fight. He's still like a middle school security guard or something like that. Or he's like a assistant principal or he works in a school in some capacity. Da Un Jung against William Knight. That's going to be a really fun fight. William Knight was supposed to fight Alonzo Menefield last week. I don't know what happened with that. But here we are with this fight, and that's going to be a really fun one. Scott Holtzman is fighting Matus Gamrot. Then we got Impa Kasanganay against Sasha Palatnikov. Impa Kasanganay probably most famous for the Joaquin Buckley loss, that wild spinning back kick. And then I'll give you the sleeper fight pick, Jeff. The first fight on the card. Your boy and mine, Mr. Jim. Card here against Joe Selecki. I think that's going to be a fun one. I will personally never miss a Jim Miller fight. I've been a fan for years. Win or lose, I'm always in support of that guy. So after everything I just kind of rattled off.
Oh, dude, this card top to bottom looks fantastic. Bill, I'll always love Jim Miller. He's a true definition of a warrior in every sense of the word. Bill, I think that my sleeper fight, I'll be honest with you, I think it's going to be Kyle Dawkins versus Alish Kebab Kizriev.
Alish Kebab.
Bill, isn't that how it's pronounced?
I believe it's Alish Kebab.
That's what I said, Alish Kebab.
All right, we'll go with that. That's what you eat at a barbecue, Jeff.
Bill, my Russian's no good, man. But
is he Russian? Let me check this, Jeff. We gotta be
yeah, we gotta get fact checking before we get canceled over here.
He is Russian.
Okay, I'm glad that worked out. I just felt like he was Russian because Russia is producing a lot of great fighters, man. Pay attention to that part of the world because they are, whatever they're doing out there, it's working. But Kyle Dawkins is he's made of a different type of toughness, man. We've seen him come back from some tight spots. So for me, I think that is the sleeper fight.
It's actually a great pick now that I'm looking at Kizraev's record here. So he was on Dana White's Contender Series back in September. So it's been a little while, especially because that fight was only 50 seconds long. He ended it with a rear naked choke in the first round. But he also has a first round knockout victory over Husmar Palhares. And that was in the promotion called FNG. The guy's never been beaten. It looks like he's only been out of the second round 4 times.
Oh wow. That's a little scary, Bill.
Yeah, this guy is quite impressive at 170 pounds. So yeah, both of those Dawkins brothers have been impressive though. I think the Sam Alvey Julian Marquez fight is going to be interesting. Marquez would be wise to try and take that one to the ground, but good luck getting Sam Alvey down. This is the first time Mike Perry will be fighting as a father. So that's scary. Not that he'll be fighting, but that he's a father.
Yeah, the fact that someone allowed him to reproduce frightens me.
Yeah, right. I was going to say there should be laws against this, but I think there's been novels written about that say that's a bad idea. But in any case, this is a really fun card, Jeff. I'm really looking forward to it. I'll always watch Jim Miller. The Scott Holtzman fight is going to be good. William Knight, I've been looking forward to. I was looking forward to watching him fight Alonzo Menifield. Oh, Jack Shore and Hunter Azure. This will be another really good one too. Jack Shore undefeated, 13-0. Hunter Azure only 1 loss. So that's a really fun fight there. It's a really, really solid card, Jeff. I'm really looking forward to this whole thing. The main event is that's going to be a tense one. I feel like Marvin Vettori is a guy who doesn't need more than a week to build some heat against a guy. And that's all he has with Kevin Holland. But I think, I think Kevin Holland the other thing is Vettori is a very emotional guy. Will Kevin Holland be able to get in his head with the talking stuff that wasn't very effective against Derek Brunson,
Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like Marvin Vettori will talk right back while he's throwing elbows in his guard.
Yeah, it could be. Maybe he'll talk to him in Italian just to confuse him.
Yeah, that could be a possibility as well.
You never know. All right, Jeff. Anything else you want to get off your chest? We almost hit that 1 hour mark this week. I'm kind of surprised. I thought it would be a much quicker episode, but once we get in a rhythm here, we just go.
Yeah, Bill. And this fight card, the main card, starting at 3. It looks like.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, so the prelims start at noon. So that's a nice way to spend the afternoon. It's going to be awesome. And Bill, we get to sleep at the end of all this.
Yeah, that's a bonus. Unfortunately for me, I'm going to be out of town next week, so I don't know how we're going to do. We'll figure out a way to do a show next week. Maybe we'll do a Saturday night show again. I like getting the show out of the way on Saturday night to tell you the truth. I know you have busy Sundays always, and I like to spend Sundays just kind of relaxing with the family. So it's nice to not have to fit the show in. I like when we get it out of the way on Saturday night, but obviously we can't do that when the fights end at 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. So who knows when the episode will come up next week, but I do know that you can get MMA on the Rocks merchandise from our friends at Team Reaper. Reaper1.co is the website. Promo code MMA Rocks 10. Save yourself 10% on your whole order. So go ahead and throw some MMA sparring gloves. Throw some of those new Muay Thai shorts in your cart. Get yourself some gear. Start training or continue training. Whatever you do, or pretend like you train. Take pictures and post them on social media like you train every day. I don't care what you do with it. Just buy it. In any case, if you guys want to get a hold of Jeff, you can do so at animal_Wilson on Twitter and Instagram. You guys know how to get a hold of me. It's at MMA on the Rocks everywhere on social media. I do my best to get back to everybody who is letting me know what they're thinking and drinking out there. And that's all we got. So until next time, cheers, everybody. Goodbye.